My stomach's aching and I can't go on. My diet's changing.
Welcome back to That Road Life. Today I'm going to cook one of my favorite foods. My Laotian co-workers have been trying to teach me how to cook this for years. Still probably don't do it right, but I think it's close. It's delicious. It's called Larb Goong. Larb is a Laotian dish. Goong just means shrimp. So essentially what I'm going to make is raw shrimp, cooked ceviche style with limes. And then I'm going to add a bunch of traditional seasonings in it. So it's really good. I would suggest everyone to try it. So here we go. Preferably you'd use a nice little bowl for this. I'm doing a hotel style, cheap, recyclable, disposable. What you do is you take a shrimp, you want to cut the shrimp up into little pieces, about, a little smaller than a dime size. You'll see this dish is very tedious to make. It takes a lot of work, but it is really good when it comes out. So I'm going to go through and cut up this 1.5 pounds of shrimp into these tiny little pieces, and I'll put them in my tray here. The shrimp's all chopped up into small pieces. Now I'm going to start squeezing limes into this until I get a nice coat over it. We'll see how many it takes. Okay, now I'm going to let that sit while I go get cleaned up. I'm going to start cutting up the lemongrass. I'm going to peel this one little outer piece off, thin one. Get into this nice white stalk. I just cut the bottom off too. Down here. I'm just going to start slicing this very, very thin, like fingernail clippings, or even smaller. You want to cut most of the white and purple end off. It'll just be down to about this much. You can use this for soups and stuff. But down that thick part, that's what you want to chop up at the end. It smells like Fruit Loops. This is what you'll have. This is what you'll end up with. Should be about a pretty full one of these soup spoons. Here I have some mint. It's like 1 package worth. What I like to do is take the bigger, maybe not as pretty looking leaves, put that in a cut pile. I take these little good looking leaves and leave them whole, because I want the mint flavor to be evenly distributed with these bigger ones, and then every once in a while you get a big boom mint flavor taste with what you're eating. So here are the little leaves. I'm not going to chop. It's fairly finely chopped up. So it's about 3 of these soup spoons worth of chopped mint. And then my loose leaf ones. Okay, so here I just cleaned the cilantro. I'm going to use about half of this. Actually, I'm wrong. I use the whole thing. I love cilantro. So here's 1 head of cilantro chopped up. And a red onion. I'm going to slice about half of it up into rings. Pretty thin rings. So I'd say I used about 1/3 of one. I just cut it into quarters. So when you break them up, they're just little thin slices. Some people add the onions, some don't. If you don't like red onions, you don't have to add them. It'll still taste really good. Same thing goes for this. I'm going to put in 6 Thai peppers. Green or red, doesn't matter. Really hot either way. I like it really spicy. That's the way most of the people who taught me make it. It's really good. So that's what I'm going to do. I just cut them up into little rings. It's time to transfer over the shrimp. Now, I'm not a chef. I'm not a health inspector or anything like that. So don't take my word for it. But I cook these in the lime juice until they're pink. Start to turn pretty pink. Not all of them do, but most. If you don't want to eat them raw or ceviche style, you can just cook them or boil them or whatever, and it tastes just as good. So, but this is the way that I do it, and I really like it. So what you do is, now that this has been sitting for a while, you got clean hands, you can use gloves if you have them. I'm going to squeeze all this lime juice out of here and then put the dried shrimp in this one. So I'm just taking handfuls and squeezing them. Okay, so here's what you're left with. You've got the wrung out shrimp, nice and pretty much dry now, a little bit of lime left on it, and then the juice. We're just going to take that juice, going to take it and throw it away. Now we're ready to make the lap. The secret ingredient is roast rice powder. You can get it in these little bags. I did see this shaker thing at the store, never seen that before. It doesn't smell as good though, so I'm not going to use it. This one smells nice and, I don't know what you would call it, roasted. But so I'm going to use this one. What I do is about a half of one of these soup spoons, mix it in, taste it, make sure it's not going to be overwhelming before I add too much. Spilled a little. I'm just going to mix it in. It's starting to smell good already. Okay, I'm tasting it on there, but it needs just a little bit more. So I'm going to do what essentially would have been the full spoon. Okay, so I got my Himalayan sea salt here. I'm going to do essentially what's a quarter of one of these. So next I'm going to put in the lemongrass. Lemongrass and the Thai pepper. This thing's going to be really spicy already with just the fresh peppers in there, but to get the flavor kind of right, you need just a touch of hot pepper. If you really like it hot, or dried pepper. If you really like it hot, you can put a lot on there. I prefer to put crushed dried Thai pepper in, but since my carry-on kitchen's limited, I just carry that cayenne, so I'm going to put just a little bit. That's really good. Now you can see it's starting to look kind of flavorful. Ooh, not spicy. I hope everyone else can eat it. So what comes next is another kind of secret ingredient. This is fish sauce. It's not your normal kind of dark black juicy fish sauce. This is like a thick ground up anchovies fish sauce. You don't use very much of it. It's pretty potent, but it gives just that little bit of fishy flavor to it that makes it taste good. You can use the regular black, dark, very liquidy fish sauce too, just a couple squirts. You don't have to buy this special for it, but I like it. Once you've got all your flavors in here, it's tasting good, then you throw in the veggies. If you throw them in earlier, it's too hard to tell when it's tasting right. I'm gonna mix them up. Okay, so this is lap. You just take it, put it on a piece of lettuce. That is delicious.